2022 has been a very interesting year for rap so far. We've gotten returns from Kendrick Lamar. We've gotten albums from Drake that did an EDM album out of nowhere. And we've gotten stuff from Logic, Denzel Curry. But the summer is still open season. There's a lot of people rumored to drop. We have confirmed drops. And we might go through some sleepers. So guys, please subscribe if you have not already, because we're going to be keeping you updated through the hottest rollouts of the year. And let me know in the comment section, what is your most anticipated release for 2022? Because we're getting to the last 6 months, man. So what do you think is going to happen this summer?
Yeah, and one of the most anticipated drops is Travis Scott's Utopia, and he usually drops his album in August or September. That's usually the time frame for his releases, and Utopia has been teased for over 2 years at this point. There's word that he's going to be performing in London on August 6th, and he's saying that there's going to be new material that he's going to be performing at this performance. And this is kind of similar to what Kendrick Lamar did, where he had a show in Milan scheduled in June, and that news came out before the album announcement came. So maybe Travis will drop prior to the show, but there's no rollout really in flight yet. So I feel like maybe a September release is probably the most likely. And I think that Travis is one of those guys that could really shift the sound of trap music and hip-hop as a whole. So that has me excited, depending what the psychedelic rock is like.
And he did say that he wants to bring this new music to big speakers, which is very interesting. So is he just going to be previewing unreleased material?
Probably.
Or is he going to be performing a new album?
When do you think it's dropping, though?
That's a very interesting
September?
question. I think the August date would be perfect for him. I mean, realistically, we're recording this on Monday, July 18th. So, I mean, we still have time to see where it goes. It could happen next week or the week after our rollout starts, but we did get billboards. So, I mean, there is some sort of hope for Travis Scott. But let's go on to another major release in the trap lane, and that is Lil Baby's new album. So there was a tweet that sparked a lot of different conversations because he had tweeted 7?22, obviously hinting towards a July release. But it seems now, as the month continues to progress, there is not a release date yet. There's not even an album cover. We've gotten singles that are kind of like Lucy's that might be making the album. But how do you feel about the situation as a whole, and does it drop this summer?
Well, there was a new update. He said that his documentary will be coming out August 26th, and he said that the album will come around the same time. So I don't think he's going to stay true to that July date, just because, like you said, there hasn't been a single, there hasn't really been a rollout yet. But I'm excited for Lil Baby. He's definitely, probably, arguably the biggest rapper out of the South right now, and I feel like there's a lot of forward momentum with Baby. I feel like his stock is going to continue to skyrocket, and I think that in terms of trap, he's one of the only guys that's consistently killing every verse. He's on everybody's album.
The only issue I think I have with Baby's music right now is that there's too many people that have been abusing his feature for like different lists, and I think that if he's delivering those same verses on the album for 20 plus songs, it might be a bit stale. But I still have a lot of hope for Baby because, as you said, one of the most skilled new gen rappers that we have right now, consistently ripping it. But let's go on to Lil Uzi Vert's The Pink Tape. All right, so we obviously have this new EP that's dropping this week that's going to be a preamp to The Pink Tape. But how do you feel about all these release dates? Like, do you think that Uzi really wants to come prepared and start being active again since he dropped Eternal Take?
Yeah, I think that Uzi really wants to make sure that this project is going to be better received than Eternal Take, and I think that he's going to be aiming for more hit songs. But I like that he has this lead-in project into The Pink Tape
Red and White
with Red and White, which is apparently going to be a SoundCloud exclusive. He dropped Space Cadet as a single on SoundCloud already, and it kind of sounds like generic Uzi, and I feel like this tape might just be some leftovers, some Grail songs, some tracks that are a bit older, like Neck and Froze, for example. But I think the main offering will be on The Pink Tape, and I'm excited because I think that Uzi has a lot of different stylistic choices to make, because it sounds like he's kind of at a crossroads right now, as we heard on songs like Heavy from Nigo's album, where he's attempting this drill sound. So I feel like he's trying to find himself, and that's a good thing because you always want an artist like Uzi to experiment, right?
Absolutely. He's super talented as a rapper. My only thing, though, is that Demon High really did not stick within my rotation.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Uzi fans feel similar about that song. People weren't a fan of it because it kind of felt like, not generic, but it just didn't feel true to Uzi's music. You know what I'm trying to say? So let's see what happens with Red and White. And by the way, we're going to be doing a live album reaction to that this Friday. So if you guys want to check it out, click the link. But let's go on to A Love Letter to You 5 by TRIPPIE Red, an iconic, staple within his catalog. So how do you think he's going to follow up after Trip at Night, and where do you want to see him go musically after Trip at Night? Because a lot of the, the rage and EDM beats that he was providing on that project didn't necessarily stick with me. Yeah. So what do you want to see out of this new album?
To me, listen, TRIPPIE strives more as a singer, and that's usually what you get on the Love Letter to You series. You get like these guitar-driven ballads, very emotional songwriting from TRIPPIE, and I think that's kind of him in his finest form. And I'm excited for this because I feel like it could end up being maybe the best melodic rap album of the entire year. And it's cool because he's been teasing a lot of snippets, and he just signed a deal with Elliot Grange's 10K Projects label for $30 million.
Crazy
And
deal.
when that was announced, he said that the singles for Love Letter to You 5 will start rolling out soon, so we can expect those probably any given week right now. So that's definitely one to check out. But next up, King's Disease 3 by Nas and Hit Boy. Definitely a fucking album of the year contender, bro. They've been on a run. And if you look at the pattern of it, King's Disease, the first one came out in August of 2020. King's Disease 2 in August of 2021. So maybe this August will be the right time for King's Disease 3. And Hit Boy did say that they're currently working on it. And I feel like every project that they've done together has gotten better and better. Magic being the best fucking one yet.
Let me ask you a question stylistically about these two projects, right? Because King's Disease 2 was a lot more meditative. You didn't have the aggression and the darkness that you had on Magic. Where would you want to see them go with this next project stylistically to change it up from that 2021 effort?
I'm not sure. I'm expecting dope rhymes and beats from both of them because that's what they provide. And I think that Nas is going to continue to have this renaissance period where he's kind of furthering the gap between himself and the greatest rappers of all time.
He's making an incredible case, bro, for longevity. I mean, he's still dropping some album of the year contenders, 30 years into the game at this point. So KD3 is definitely something to look out for. But let's go on to Chance the Rapper, Starline Gallery. I think that this is going to be one of the most underrated drops of the year. I love the singles he's dropped. And when he spoke about the single of the highs and the lows, he spoke about it being objectively good. Like, you can't knock that song.
Can't.
The writing is immaculate. It's so personal. Some of the best that I've gotten from Chance in years. The jazzy production just has this super somber mood to it, gets me in a groove, and I love the hook on it as well. I think Chance's more melodic crooning really does well on it. So what are you expecting out of this release, and what do you have, let's say, as I don't know, maybe a guess of an album release
I'm
date?
expecting some old mixtape vibes, definitely from Chance the Rapper, that soul, some dope metaphors. And on June 17, 2022, he tweeted a track list for Starline Gallery and included 4 songs: The Heart and the Tongue, Child of God, A Bar About a Bar, and The Highs and the Lows, with 12 empty slots underneath. So probably a 16-song album. And they've all been quality, the singles up to this point. And I think that what could be cool is that if Chance attaches a visual art piece to each song, like he did, for example, with Child of God, where you got a painter by the name of Nayla Opianga, artist from Chicago, who drew a painting specifically for that song's artwork. And if you look at the highs and lows, and if you look at A Bar About a Bar, they have like their own paintings for each song associated. And what's really cool is that imagine if Chance the Rapper has a visual art piece attached to each song, and when the album comes out, he actually has a real life art gallery where you could walk in, bump the album, and have a visual painting or piece of art for all the songs in the album. It could be a really cool concept, and if somebody could do that, I think it would be Chance. But next up, DJ Khaled's God Did, stacked with features. You could always expect bangers, so are you excited for that?
I am excited for it. I mean, a lot of people are going to go into this DJ Khaled release and have these sort of premeditated thoughts about, what the album's going to sound like. It's going to be filler. It's going to sound like everything's phoned in. But listen, at the end of the day, he has delivered bangers in the past. Just because of one effort that didn't hit for me last year, I'm not going to completely write it off, because at the end of the day, he is getting the best talent you possibly can as far as mainstream rappers and producers go to come in and form this album. So it's going to be very interesting to see the way that track list ends up forming out. But let's go into Freddie Gibbs' Soul separately. This is going to be a much different format than what we know of for regular Freddie Gibbs collaborations with one producer. So example, his past 2 projects, Alfredo and Bandana, that was with The Alchemist and that was with Madlib. Now he's gathering a cast of producers, I believe such as Boy Wonder, Justice League, Pharrell, Jake One, The Alchemist, Madlib again, and even K Tronada to come through and provide a soundscape. So how do you think that's going to affect the release of this album, and how do you think it's going to affect, let's say, the track list as a whole?
I think, Freddie's best albums are when he taps in with one producer. Alfredo and Bandana were both album of the year contenders without a doubt, and this album should be exciting. He said it was going to drop in June. Obviously, it didn't, so we'll have to see if it does end up coming out this summer. It should definitely come out this year, though. But next up, A$AP Rocky's new album. It's not going to be called All Smiles, which was a surprise to a lot of people. In May of last year, he said the album was 90% done. Now he's saying that he's working on finishing it up with Tyler, the Creator, assisting him, which is pretty exciting if we get some more Wangsap collaborations on the project. He released DMB. Wasn't a big fan of that, to be honest.
I liked it a lot.
He's been teasing snippets with Playboi Carti, with Lil Wayne, and it sounds fire, and I can't wait to see what this new evolution will be like for A$AP Rocky. Maybe a more mature record.
Do you think
which
it's
has me
dropping this
excited.
summer?
I think it could drop this summer, maybe late August.
Okay, that's a good one. But let's go on to J.I.D's The Forever Story. And this has been waited on for like such a long time now at this point. People are asking where the album is. And he's tweeted a couple of times. He said, it's coming soon, it's coming soon, it's coming soon. I don't believe it until I see it. I really want to hear this album and I want to hear how it's going to sound. But I'm happy he's taking his time with it. You know, it has to come out immaculate because he is that type of rapper.
Apparently it is done, though, because he had a listening party for it in New York this summer. So that's a good sign towards the release of it. And
was there any reception on that, by the way? Did people say they fucked with it or not?
No, I think it was a private listening party. And the only official single we have is Surround Sound with 21 Savage, Baby Tate. Absolute banger, one of the year's best. And I mean, let's not forget that also, JID's been in the studio with Dr. Dre. They've been cooking up. And listen, when it comes to like getting new, fire flows and punchlines, J.I.D. to me is kind of like the modern equivalent of Lil Wayne, where he's just killing it in terms of lyrical assassinations on songs. And I just think that I'm ready to hear the first JID classic. I think it's time for that.
It's definitely time for that.
Let's not go into the confirmed drops. We'll kind of just list these off. July 22nd, Joey Badass's 2000. First album in 5 years. That's going to be awesome. And that same night, we have Lil Uzi Vert dropping Red and White, his new EP, which might be a SoundCloud exclusive. July 29th, Nav is dropping Demons Protected by Angels, and he might have the biggest balls in the music industry because he's choosing to drop the same night as Beyonce. That should be pretty cool. On August 5th, heavy for releases, we have Eminem's Curtain Call 2. We have The Lastly Meto by NBA Youngboy. We have Calvin Harris's Funk Wave Bounces Volume 2. Then on August 12th, we have Black Thought and Danger Mouse's Cheat Codes. Should be an Album of the Year contender as well. And we have finally a release date for the game Stillmatic, Heart vs. Mind. Sorry, not Stillmatic, Drillmatic. Also dropping on August 12th. So pretty stacked drops, I would say, that are confirmed. Which one has your eye the most?
2000 for sure. The singles have been so fucking sick for the album, and it's been some of my most played music all summer, to be honest with you. Like, I'm really going back into Joey's catalog, finding a ton of value, and I love how he's attacking, this 2000 concept with a fresh perspective of New York, glowing up throughout that. I'm super excited for Red plus White. I want to see how Uzi makes a return, and honestly, maybe Calvin Harris's Funk Wave Bounces Volume 2. I mean,
it's coming a bit late in the summertime, though. I would have liked for it to come in June or something.
I mean, that was the case in 2017 when we had gotten tracks like Slide. You had them for the whole summer because it dropped in June, had it for July, had it for August. But we'll have to see, man. It's looking like a crazy summer, guys. So most of the projects that we mentioned on this list, we will be doing a live album reaction to. So if you guys want to join us, visit the link in our description. And again, let us know in the comment section, what is your most anticipated release of the summer so far? And guys, thank you so much for watching and supporting the podcast. We're almost at 100,000. So you better believe we're going to have a big episode for that. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and we'll catch you in the next one.